Today you see some versions of a pair of leggings. I've made quite a few, just one for myself. I've made 3 for my nieces. It's a pattern that comes in adult sizing and youth sizing. Super cute, really no fuss, easy to sew leggings, but they're not tight all the way to the ankle and they have a few options. Hi sewing friends, I'm Karina from liftingpinsandneedles.com. Welcome to this channel that is all about sewing, limitless sewing, and I'm here to share some bottoms. I sewed my pair just before traveling over to my parents' home in Chile, and for my nieces I sewed theirs when I got here. And what I'm talking about are super easy projects. This one's called mini flare leggings because the flare at the bottom is smaller. Neat stretch pants, very easy, pull up, some waistband options, and there's a version for adults, there's a version for youth, for kids. Super cute. Now these are very fitted, there's quite a lot of negative V's. For the waistband, you have 2 waistband options. One is a nice curved waistband, typical nice fit where it's smaller at the top and then it goes widening out towards the high hip area. Very comfortable. There's an inner and an outer layer. For the curved waistband option, you have a lower cut line there if you don't want it to be that high-waisted. I just took it all the way to the top. I like the high-waisted. It fits all the way up to my natural waist, which is up here already. Super comfortable. It just gives you such amazing support. So I never use the lower cut line, but it's there if you want to. And then there's also a different type of waistband that's shaped differently where you only have side seams, but the shaping is on the sides. So you do a type of seam like this. I think it's really cool. I'm going to show you how to sew that type of waistband because it's a little bit different. Super easy. And then the legs are fitted. Where this starts flaring out is around mid-calf. And then there's an option of a gusset you can sew in. It's not a small triangle gusset. It's quite a nice long gusset. Very easy to sew. Easier to sew than those tiny ones, in my opinion. It is optional, of course, if you want. I have done the gusset and filmed it for you for my version. But for my nieces, I left the gusset out. I don't think they need a gusset. They're going to use these more as lounge pants, not really for working out. So it's up to you if you want to use them. For the adult version, you have 3 lengths there. There's 3 different files for shorter, a regular and a taller inseam. For the short inseam, the regular inseam and the tall inseam, these are 26 inches, 29 inches and 32 inches respectively. Only a few pattern pieces and you'll be done. Because the mini flare leggings are a brand new pattern at GreenStyle, you can get them now for a discounted price. I believe that's going to run for about a week. I will leave all that information in the comment section at the top pinned and also in the description box of this video. You will also find my affiliate link there. If you click on it and you end up purchasing, you don't pay anything extra, but I do receive a small commission back from the designer. It's one of the ways I make an income creating helpful sewing videos here on YouTube, and that is one way you can support my work if you want to. You need stretch fabrics, performance fabrics would be best. You can use cotton lycra if you want, but I suggest any fabric that you choose have at least 10% spandex so you can have good recovery, so you can stretch and bounce back and not end up deformed over time. As for stretch factor here, you need fabric that stretches quite a fair bit, at least 50%, 75%, that amount, so it's a good amount of stretch. You also need vertical stretch as well for these to fit well. So make sure you have that amount of stretch. If you use fabric that stretches less, you won't be able to pull them past your thighs. The crotch fit would seem very short. So just make sure you check horizontal stretch, 50 to 75, and vertically about the same. I would say 50% vertically is okay as well. I will use the super heavy brushed athletic knit. I'll put the composition here on the screen. Quite heavy, lots of spandex in there, amazing. I have used the same fabric before to make other bottoms and I really love it because I loved it so much. I got so much yardage and I can never have enough blue bottoms anyway. I love the color. So that's for mine. And for my nieces, I actually purchased the fabric only a few days ago in Santiago, and I purchased cotton lycra, 90% cotton, 10% lycra. This one I would say is a medium weight, really, really comfortable, very stretchy, very soft, nice, love it. I chose a burgundy, dark red burgundy-ish color. I think is different for them because they just tend to wear navy leggings and stuff like that. So this is a color that they don't have. For myself, I don't think I would make these out of cotton lycra because I always want these to work out in, and cotton lycra doesn't really hold sweat that well. I mean, if you sweat, it's going to stay on there and it's going to look like you just dropped a bucket of water on yourself. So for me, it's a no-go. But if you just want it for walking or lounging or doing things that are more relaxed, I think cotton lycra would be perfect, and also for kids as well. I think it would be really comfortable for them. It just wouldn't be my choice. I prefer the athletic knits. That's always up to you. Another notion you might need, and it's only optional, is if you want to put a little bit of elastic on the top of the waistband. Totally optional. I don't do that. You could use clear elastic or regular elastic. I have tried that in the past, but over time when you wear these leggings that have that, I've always found them a little uncomfortable. And plus my athletic knit has so much spandex. It's so firm. It's got amazing recovery. I don't really think that elastic is necessary. But if you find your knit isn't that strong, maybe it would be a good idea, so it can help you keep your leggings up. Just optional though. Sizing for adults comes from B to M. These are sizes in letters. You really have to look at this because there's no other reference like alphanumeric sizing and stuff like that. So you really have to concentrate. Just find your measurements in the chart, plot them down, and you know. You know, when I'm filming, she always comes along and she's always around here meowing. Size M goes up to a 62-inch hip. Now, when you look at these pattern pieces and you find your size, you might think, how small are these? They look so small. And it's because you're using fabric with high stretch. I think the sizing is super accurate. If you just plot your measurements down on the chart, maybe blend sizes if you need to from waist to hip if you want to. Thigh measurements are always helpful. You would get a really good fit if you have different sizes between them, just blending on the sides. Just trust that it's drafted well. I've always trusted this brand with the sportswear. This brand really specializes in this type of garment, so the fitting is always going to be super good. I never thought when I saw the pattern pieces, how small are these? They're not going to fit. I know they're going to fit. You know, the garment looks small. It's because the fabric will give, and this is supposed to be a fitted garment. This type of garment, if it fits loose, doesn't look very good either. So you'll be fine if you just trust the process and you'll get a good fit. I chose a size G on the chart. My measurements fall straight in there, so that's what I did. So I chose the toe. Now my inseam for 32 inches would be good in a woven pant, but I knew that this one, because the stretch factor, the vertical stretch, it might have ended up a little too long for me, but I just made it and thought, well, I can just trim it off at the bottom if that's, you know, if it comes to be. So that's what I did. I knew I was only going to have to maybe change 1 inch, and that was all the fitting adjustments I needed to make, 1 inch. I suggest you don't just take off at the hem if it's a lot, because then you're going to lose that little flare at the bottom. So there are several cut lines along the legs, around the thigh, around the knee, around the calf, different areas where you can make adjustments for length if you need to, where you'll end up keeping that little flare at the bottom as the original, so it looks nice as intended. So I suggest that. I didn't really have time to make a test pair or fabric for that, so I just decided to go. And I thought maybe my discrepancy was going to be really small. I think it's not super notorious that I took off 1 inch from the hem. But I wouldn't suggest doing more than that because it would really affect the look of the flare. So that's my 2 cents on that. For my nieces, this is kid sizes, 2 to 16. I know most people think that whatever age the child is, that's going to be their size. That's not the case with my nieces. It's never been. It wasn't like that with my son either. My nieces are 3, 5, and 10. And so you would have thought I'd made those sizes, but I didn't. I made sizes 6, 10, and 16. Only that the legs, I took off a little bit of the length. I got my sister-in-law to take the measurements, which in hindsight could have been a mistake because I know I would have taken them more accurately, especially the inseam. Their leggings turned out maybe an inch too short, maybe. So I know now I really have to do it myself. But otherwise, the fit was amazing for them. It's high-waisted, it covers their tummy. Amazing, love that. They're really happy with the fit. And I didn't make any fitting adjustments other than making them a little bit shorter than what the sizes were. For sewing, I filmed all the interesting bits for you. I have left the waistband out of the sewing, the curved waistband, because I have a whole separate video all about how to sew those. I'll give you a thumbnail here so you can see how it looks, and I'll also link it down below. It's much more in-depth, comprehensive about different types of curved waistbands, but the examples I show there do feature GreenStyle patterns as well. There's always an inner waistband that's a little shorter and just makes that seam on the top roll to the inside, which I think is really neat. So I'll leave that for you, but I'm going to focus on the general construction and of course this long gusset there that is an option, but I think is really neat. Here are the mini flare leggings from GreenStyle. Not many pattern pieces. This is the front, this is the back. You can see it's fitted up to the calf, mid calf, and then it has that flare out shape right there. This long piece here is a gusset. It's really long. It's actually a pattern piece that's cut on the fold like this. And this goes all along this inner edge up to a mark on the pattern right there. So it's not a triangle gusset like others. This is much more comfortable and is going to give you a longer area. I chose to sew the traditional curved waistband. Now there's 4 pieces here. The ones on the top are the outer layers, front outer layer, back outer layer, and this is the front inner layer and the back inner layer. The inner layer, the only difference is that it's a little bit shorter over here, and that's going to make the top seam right here roll to the inside. So easy to put together directly on the serger. The first steps are sewing these crotch seams together, keeping the 2 fronts together, keeping the 2 backs together. We're going to sew these crotch seams right there. After sewing the crotch seams, you can choose the front or the back to start with. It doesn't really matter. You can see the long gusset there. I've drawn little marks on the center of that gusset, and that is what I've matched to the crotch seam right there. And then you're going to have an extended piece of the gusset to one side and then to the other side, and that's how we sew it. It goes narrower as we go to the end of the gusset, and this is what we sew on the serger now. Just a nice long seam, very, very easy to do. Now that that side of the gusset has been sewn, I've laid the other leg on top, either the front or the back, it doesn't matter. And now we can line up the inseam from the bottom of the hem. At one point, we're going to catch that piece of gusset right there that is still free. We match it up with that little mark I'd made at the middle of the gusset to the crotch of the other side, and we keep going down. And now this next seam is longer because it includes the whole inseam from one hem to the other side of the hem of the other leg. Very easy, there's no tricky bits to deal with. When you get to that intersection of gussets, you just catch all of it and keep going with your serging. So the next step is just to sew these 2 side seams. I've got them pinned. That's very boring for you to see. It's just a really long seam, and that's the main construction. Then what we have is the waistband. Basically, we're sewing these together right here. We're going to sew 2 sets of waistbands, the outer, the inner, and these 2 little seams, and then unite them on the top. Check out this full video on how to sew these curved waistbands. I have a separate technique video that's really in depth there. Now this is the other type of waistband. You can see it's just one piece. There's a front side and there's a back side. The front side is a little narrower than the back, and there's a little shape right there. It's wider on the top, goes narrower there, and then it goes out, and it's just going to be folded onto itself. This is super easy to sew, just directly on the serger there. So here you can see the waistband sewn. It's got a specific shape right there. It's not a rectangle, as you can see, and now we're just going to fold it onto itself with those seams wrong sides together. Match everything up, and it's going to be a little bit narrower on the top, a little bit wider on the bottom, giving you a little bit of shape. And then the way you sew it onto the top of the leggings would be exactly the same as any other waistband. It's just a folded in waistband, super easy. You can find this waistband option on both the adult and the kids version of the mini flare leggings. This is my version. It's got the lovely curved waistband there. I use the same fabric for the inner and the outer waistband because I had enough fabric, and this fabric actually feels amazing on the skin. It's brushed, it's very soft, so I didn't have any problem with having that on my midsection. This is the high rise one. There's one that could be a little bit lower if you wanted. And then you just have legs, you can see nicely fitted, and then you have that little flare at the bottom. Very nice. I have a 1-inch hem allowance. I've sewn it with a twin needle. Very easy construction, as you saw. There is where we have that inner gusset right there on the inner leg. There you can see the gusset piece. That's the width right there at that section. And then it goes tapering off to a point right there. Very easy to sew, very achievable. I had a lot of fun sewing these up. I'm just upset I didn't have time to make more. I was rushing to get these done before my trip. So yeah, I've styled this only one way, one or two ways. I've actually already worn them at the gym over here. So let's see these on. These are my new mini flare leggings from GreenStyle. Mine are a size G with a toe inseam, no fitting adjustments. Fits amazingly. I have a super heavy, very compressive athletic knit here that I really enjoy in blue. I love that mini flare at the bottom because I think it balances out the silhouette with the width of the hips. I'm notorious for not wearing leggings that are fitted all the way down to the ankle. I just don't like how that looks, but I really love how this looks. So this is perfect. I'm also working out in cooler weather right now, so the long length is very welcome. This is the curved waistband. I think it fits amazing. I have the high rise option. The fit in the front and the back is perfect. The crotch length on the front and the back is fitting really well. When you look at the pattern pieces and the garment, it looks really short, but then the fit is perfect because your fabric stretches vertically as well. There is the inner gusset. It's long, it's comfortable. I really wanted that option because I am actually working out in these, and I think that gives you more mobility and more comfort. I've paired it with my Havana tank from GreenStyle also. I love this one. It's very colorful, makes me really happy, and it's really functional, wicking, all those things. I've actually worn this out to the gym already, so here you can see me at the actual place, all sweaty, where all these garments need to be functional and work well, and they really do. I don't worry about anything. I can barely feel the garments are on, but then I also know they're cute and they fit well and they look good, so that's also important for me as well. Always want to look my best, whatever I'm doing, even if I'm just lifting weights at the gym and I don't know anyone. I filmed this little clip the other morning just before going out to the gym again in my mini flare leggings in navy. I think the pink ready to wear tank goes well in the color combo department. I love this, and I'm really comfortable and happy to wear these. I'm glad I have this new type of legging in my wardrobe for cooler weather. I hope I can make a black pair soon when I get back home and I have access to all my fabric. Really enjoying them. I think they're great. And then here they are paired with a really colorful jacket. This is ready to wear Adidas that collaborated with Fam Rio. I bought this in Brazil, super colorful, very happy jacket, makes me excited to wear it. And it goes perfectly with my mini flare leggings. Perfect. I'm glad to have these, and I think this is an amazing pattern. The fit, everything is amazing. I made my three nieces the same leggings in the same color because they still like to match their clothes even though they're different ages. But yeah, this is the color. I have two of them stacked up here. One is shorter than the other. I have the size 10 and the size 16. The pair I made for my smallest niece. When I went to take their picture, she did not want to take them off. So I just let her keep them. I don't have them to show you, but they would have just been even shorter, like up to here. This is the fold-in waistband that's super easy to sew, as you saw. It's just one piece, has that shape, and then you just fold it in. And then you sew it on the top of the pants just like any other leggings. So there's no seam on the top here. It's all very smooth and very comfortable. I think perfect for kids. I know a lot of kids can be sensitive to seams and things. So having that area just be a fold and not a seam, I think is a plus. And there is that seam on the side that gives you still that shape like this. See, it's smaller on the top and then it curves out like that. This is also an option in the adult version. It's just that I just did the normal curved waistband. But it's all the same, and then you have that little cute flare at the bottom. Very nice. This fabric is so amazing. Stretchy, perfect for kids. I took some cute pictures of them all together and a little bit of a movement clip. They were not following instructions. Let's see. Here are the youth mini flare leggings from GreenStyle. I made my three nieces. I used the cotton lycra in burgundy. I think the flare on these leggings look really cute on them. They're so happy, they're so comfortable. My smallest niece there did not want to take these off after filming them and taking a few pictures. So that's a good sign. And I'm glad I made something different for them because I've been just making dresses for them all these years. I only get to see them once a year, and I hope I have time to make them a pair each extra gonna see if I can find an alcala fabric to make them, because I know they really enjoyed it and it was really satisfying for me to make. Very easy sew, great gift if you have little ones to sew for. Remember that the mini flare leggings have a discount for the first week. All the information is down below. It's a real easy sew, very comfortable, that you can use for lounging or for working out, being active. Choose a nice soft fabric and you're gonna be super comfortable. If you have little kids to sew for, then this is amazing as well. I was so happy to sew for my nieces. I've actually just made them dresses all these years. I've never actually made them anything like this. It was really easy. I know they're gonna get a lot of wear out of them, and I hope I can make them more pairs. That's all from me. I'll see you again soon on this channel with more sewing. Hopefully very soon. Bye.